Welcome back, friends. So now we'll see the examples of debugging more, right? And how exactly the let are different from the const and the where keyword, right? So I hope this is going to be a interesting session on the variable debugging options, right? So let's go back to our VS Code and try to understand this code. So friends, you can see this code is little exactly same. This was the previous code and I just made one signal line change. So I just took the console log of variable to be printed before the variable declaration in my case, right? So I'm taking the variable with the const keyword as of now first. So we'll talk about let as well and the where too. So friends, I'm trying to do this thing very clearly and I'm just putting a debugger on the top and just trying to do a debug. So when I try to debug this code, you will see the variable is going to execute fine, right? I will see a local scope getting created. So as of now, this local scope, but I have variable declared inside the condition, right? That if condition the block, right? So my variable will be declared inside the condition only. But if I try to access this thing, friends, I have one block scope that is going to create. So when I come to this block scope, friends, you can see it's totally fine to understand that I know the variable const is there and this will create a block scope for that particular variable. But friends, when I try to move to the next line, before I execute this line console.log, I have variable a defined. You can see very clearly the variable a is defined, right? Here you can see very clearly the variable a is defined, right? So when I say variable a is defined, but if I try to execute the next line, friends, when I try to execute this particular line to print the value of a, that is printing, right, something undefined as of now. You can see very clearly when I go here, I got something weird answer, right? I don't know why this thing is actually happening, friends. This thing I need to understand. So I get something unquote reference error, right? You can see that unquote reference error cannot access a before initialization. So friends, even though that variable was declared there, still I was not able to get the variable value undefined printed on my console. I got this reference error. So what the issue here? The issue is, friends, you cannot access a variable, right? You can access a variable that declared by using a const keyword. If you have variable declared, make sure the variable is also initialized. Until unless you don't initialize the variable, friends, you cannot access it before that. That's the reason, friends, we learned about the ECMAScript is C style, right? So in the C style things, what actually happens, the variable has to be defined first, right? The variable has to be initialized first, then I can access that thing. That's the simplest thing, friends, I learned about in the const keyword. You cannot use this line before, right? So you cannot print the value. Now taking the same reference, friends, if I take this thing as a let keyword, right? I use a let keyword here. Now the previous it was const, now I use the let keyword. Let's try to understand and do debug again on this same code. Now friends, when I do the same thing here, again the local scope come into the picture, right? There's no block scope until I don't come inside this picture. So I go inside the block. You can see a block scope again getting created with a as undefined as a value. Now friends, again the same thing will happen if I try to go to the next line. It again gets me same unquote reference error. It means again the same thing, the same history is getting, right? Variable cannot be used to print before they are getting initialized. So line number 4 that is written here should be before this line. That's what they are trying to tell me, right? So if I take this line up and the console log down, you will see there's no error that I'm going to get, right? And let's try to see this as well. I run the code, friends. Let's try to see local scope. You can see again, right? But friends, when I say local scope, you can see very clearly the blocks of come into the picture directly. You can see the blocks of come into the picture directly. You don't need to actually get it, right? The reason is for that very clearly because I can see the if condition is getting executed totally fine and I'm directly coming to the variable a, right? That is initialized something as of now undefined. Now friends, understand this thing. There are two different scenarios that you might see. Now when I do execute, the value of a is 10 and I can also get the value printed on the console that is 10, right? I hope it makes sense, friends. So in the case of var keyword, if I have the same code written that same line, but now if I write a var keyword, remember this thing, friends, the var keyword is something, a global variable that I declare. In my particular case, that will be a local variable on the top. When I do debug this code, friends, I can see the variable a is there in the local scope by default, right? So you can see variable a is here by default with the value undefined and I know it is already defined. So there's nothing that kind of error that I'm going to get from that line reference error, right? Unquote reference error. So you can get inside this thing, you get undefined printed, nothing else. Friends, you can see very clearly the variable is getting value undefined printed, right? In my case of let and var keyword, let and const keyword, I was not able to get that value undefined, although I was able to see the variable was there, right? That's the reason ECMAScript C style thing gave me this thing. So you have to insert the variable before trying to access that variable value by taking care of let and const. In the var keyword, friends, it doesn't matter. Whatever you write, it's up to you. Okay, I hope it makes sense. Now let's take one more example, friends. I have already created one file that is demo2. So I will take that example demo2. So friends, in my demo2, what I'm doing, I have one function with var1 demo, I have one function let1 demo, I have one function const1 demo. So friends, here I will talk about what are exactly the different var, let and const when they are coming under the same function types, right? So there are three functions that I'm going to take here. So this functions is just simple calling. They have different variable declaration by taking var, let and const, having same number of lines, printing the same variable a with value 1. Now friends, when I execute this code, you will see that things are quite different the way that I have block and stop, right? So friends, when I execute this thing, I can see var1 demo, let1 demo, and the const1 demo. There are three functions that are declared. So you can see var1 demo, you can see let1 demo, and you can see my const1 demo. So friends, when I talk about this function, you can see that var1 demo is currently getting executed. I get inside this function, you have variable a that is actually value 1, and you have a local scope coming for this function only. The var1 demo function has its own local scope. You can see it has local scope for the var1 demo where variable a is undefined as a default nature. Now friends, when I try to do this thing, this is just going to have value 1, and guys, I'm going to print the value of a, that is 1. And friends, when I do print the value, the last line is now return. This function is returning nothing, that is undefined. So friends, when I execute this function fully, the local scope for that function is now removed. Right, now I'm back to my main local scope where I have the function declared. Again, I went inside the function call. I can see again same local scope. This is nothing like a block scope for the let keyword. It is again same local scope for the let1 demo. Now friends, when I get to next line, again the variable value is getting 1 and getting printed, and I'm getting return value, and the same local scope get destroyed, and another local scope, the main local scope, come into the picture back again. Same thing, friends, when I go to const1 demo, you can see that again the local scope for the const1 demo, the variable a that is having undefined, again executing the same line, friends. I print the value of a, that is 1, and after this thing, friends, I'm going to return a value that is undefined, nothing to worry about it, and I'm good to go. So friends, I learned about something, that in the case of functions, right, the variable type doesn't matter whether it is a var or let or const, but they exactly matters when you have function with some internal blocks. If you have multiple blocks inside the function call, right, you have some inf condition about like that, so you might get something different answer. So friends, for that I have particular file demo3.js where actually I'm creating a function name as demo. I have variable x that is having a 232. I am trying to check the condition whether x is more than 0, that is currently true, I can see. Then I'm printing the value that is x more than 0. Then I have variable y that equals to value 10. I'm printing the value of y. Then I'm printing value of y again by taking a condition that is y is more than 0 again. In this case, friends, I can see values of y is 10, so y is more than 0. I'm do declaring, friends, the value of y again, right? So I have y2. Friends, here I have y1. And you can see, friends, when I have y1 and y2, they are under the same function, the same name of the variables, but with different block scopes. This variable y is actually coming under this scope. This variable y is coming under this scope. And friends, that's going to be interesting function call. Let's try to understand this particular thing. Now, friends, when I try to execute this kind of code, I go to debug. I try to run the debug. Just try to see very clearly. Friends, first of all, I should have a local scope for my demo function. Right, so this is the local scope, friends. As of now, there's nothing as of now the function demo local scope. Again, this is the main local scope. When I click on this thing function, right, I can see now I have demo function local scope, right? Here I have x as undefined. I don't have any y variable. I don't have any y2 variable. I have only one x variable. Now friends, when I come inside this function, you can see now the condition is actually true. The x is more than 0 because x value is 232. I went inside the function, inside the block, and friends, you can see now when I come inside the block, I can see there's a variable declaration for the variable y, right? That is my first y value. So friends, when I come into the picture, you can see another block created for the demo, and that variable y is undefined as of now. But when I come to the next line, the variable y value is going to be 10, and that is going to help me out to print the value of y equals to 10. So friend, in that case, I'm going to print the value of y here equals to 10, right? So let's try to see. Now friends, when I print the value of y equals to 10, you can see now again I'm checking one more condition, that is if y is more than 0. In my case, we all know y is having value 10, that is again more than 0. And friends, I execute this particular block of code. So when I execute this particular block of code, friends, you can see again this another y variable, right? Yeah, that makes sense, right? So another y variable, and when I try to execute this thing, it blows my mind, literally. Again, another y variable in the same function but with different scope. Yes, it can be done. And friends, you can see now one block demo here, one block demo here, right? This one block demo, this one block demo, two block demo that contains same variable y. Here that is 10, that is first block demo, and that is current one that is having value of y that's undefined, right? So when I try to execute this particular line, that current line number 8, it actually gets the value of y from undefined to 20. And now when I say two variable y, friends, you can see one having value 20, one having value 10. The innermost right now is actually value 20, right? So when I talk about inner one, this is the inner one as of now. So it's going to print the value of y. What is the value of y currently? That is 20, and you can see also in the watch, right? The watch also have the value of y equals to 20. So when I try to execute the next line, it actually prints 20 here, right, in the debugger. So friends, when I click here, you can see 20. Now I can see the block demo is completed because the line number 7 to 9 or 7 to 10 is fully executed. I don't have any variable y, that is second variable y, right? Now but still I have one value remaining because line number 11 is getting executed now. In that block, friends, we have one y variable that has value equals to 10, and you can also see in the watch, right? Now for this variable y10, I'm going to print the value of y, that is 10, in line number 11, and you can see the value is getting printed here, right friends? So when I see values printed here 10, now block is fully completed, fully executed. There's no need to have the variable by there. So when I try to get this thing, friends, you can see now again I have local scope for the demo function. There's nothing like any block scope required. That's what I need to see. So when I execute next line, friends, I am good to go. There's no local scope remaining for the demo function as well. That is fully done. The function is returning something undefined. I'm good to go. I hope friends this makes sense to understand what about the let and the where const, right? So here you can see that I'm using only let keyword, not const. So friends, I'm going to give you a simplest assignment for this thing. You can use the const keyword in replacement of let, and you will see the same thing working again, right? Thank you friends, and have a nice day. Please do share my video with other friends, and do subscribe my channel, and do like for more such content.